Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the part 5 of Python Pandas tutorial series. In this tutorial, we will talk about how to read data from different file format to Python Pandas data frame. And at the same time, we will talk about how to write data frame to one of the file format, which is, for example, CSV file, Excel file, or text file. So without any further delay, let's get started. The Pandas InputOutput API is a set of top-level reader functions which allow you to read data from various file formats. The corresponding writer functions are the object methods that allow you to write data from Pandas data frame to one of the file formats. And Pandas support a list of file formats which include CSV, Excel file, HTML, SAS, SQL, even Google Big Data Query. But in this tutorial, we will talk about how to read and write data from and to Excel and CSV file. Knowing that these two file formats are most commonly used to distribute the data, but I will provide you the detailed list of all the file format that Pandas supports in the website. Please go through it, and if you have any question, as usual, you can ask me in the comment section of the YouTube. Okay, so here we have imported Pandas and NumPy. Then, and from the OS, I am importing path. So in the next block of code, I am specifying which the path where I am keeping my file and the file name itself. If you're wondering where did I get this file, you can go to this Kaggle. I will provide you the link. You can go to this Kaggle website, and then there you will find this data. And this data it's a very famous data. It's called iris data. So basically, it has 4 columns, 5 columns along with one ID. And I'm using the same file, so you can download it. So I'm giving the file name with a extension .csv. Then here I am joining this to path, saying path.join. So I will show you how it will look like. Okay. So if I will just go ahead and run it, you will see it actually nicely combine these two paths. Okay, so what I will do next, I will read data from this CSV file. So I can either use read.table or read.csv. So let's first do the read.table. I want to load the data into df, and I will use the method called read.table. So underscore table, and then you will pass this CSV file name along with the full extension, along with the full path, and then as you are reading as if a plain text file, so you need to provide how it will parse it. So you have to provide how all the values are separated. Now we know that this is a comma separated value, so that's why we have to specify sep equal to comma. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, oops, I forgot to print it. So let's say print df, and let's see the first top 2 rows of this data frame. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, you will see the data is being loaded. It has 6 column, that's 5 column along with one ID. Similarly, I can also read this data from the CSV file by using read underscore CSV. So here I will say df equal to pd dot read underscore CSV, and here I will say CSV file, the name of the file. Now here I can provide sep equal to comma, but that's optional because by default read.csv means that it is comma, it can able to read data from the comma separated value and can parse it assuming that all the values are separated by comma. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, you will see you get the similar result. So now let's talk about how to specify header. Now let's first talk about what is header. Now header is the name which is at the first row. So by default, when you don't provide header, the behavior is equal to header equal to 0. That means the first row of the data will become the header. If you want to explicitly mention like that the header is present somewhere not in the first row but let's say third or fourth row, you have to explicitly mention in the header uh, in the header argument. If you want to explicitly pass header equal to 0, you can able to replace the existing name. Okay, so let's look at the behavior, how you can specify the header. If you change the header, how it will look like. For that, let me copy this thing here, and then as a next argument, let's say sep equal to comma, even though it's not necessary because we are reading it as a CSV, read.csv. Now the next argument which I will pass is called header. Now by default, header equal to 0. So in order to give you the proof, I will say head print df dot head. Head is attribute, not attributes, a method, instance specific method. And let's grab the first two rows of this table. So the behavior is same. That means same as previous. That means always by default header equal to 0. Now if I will change it to 1, how it will look like. Now you can see here which is the row number 2 is now the header because we have specified here. So I'm specifying grab the second row and put it as a header of this data frame. Okay. Now the next thing which we will see is that when we explicitly mention the name, okay, the header name. So for that, I will copy this thing here, all this thing to here, and then instead of header, what I will say name, and in the name argument, I will pass the list of name that I want as a column or I want as a header. So I will say there is 6 columns, so let me create 6 blank space and say dummy 1, and then let me just copy it, dummy 2, then dummy 3, then dummy 4, dummy 5, and dummy 6. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, you will see what it will happen. It's throwing error. Why it's throwing error? The keyword name. Okay, sorry, it's names, not name, s in plural. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, you see now the column name is replaced with the list of names which we have provided. Okay, the next thing which we're going to talk about is called skip row. Now this one, actually the line of number to be skipped, by default it's 0th index. That means no line will skipped. If you want to skip any lines of rows, then you have to provide the number. Okay, if callable, then callable function will be evaluated against the row of indices, which we will see in an example, and return true if it is rows should be skipped or and false otherwise. So let's stick to the similar example and read the file, read.csv file. Copy this one here and paste it here. Now as a next row, if I will say header equal to 0, the next I will say skip rows in plural, and then what I will say, if I will say by default is 0, so that means it will behave similarly what we have seen earlier cases. Now if I will just put any other number, just let's say script row 3, 2 let's say. Now just look at this one, it will change automatically. Okay, it skipped at first 2 rows, and by skipping it also skipped the header name, so that's why you only see the header name from the third row onwards. So third row become header right now. Okay, cool. Now it also callable. So let's define a function here. So instead of 2, we can define a lambda function. So lambda, and what I will do, I will say give me all the indices which is divisible by 2 or not divisible by 2. Okay. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, you will get uh, ID number 2, 4. It's not getting or you are not getting a even number but odd number 2, 4, etc. So you can define a function because it's callable. Okay, now let's talk about the nan value. Okay, by default there is a set of nan value which is being used, and I will just give you the value here. So this is the set of if they find this pandas object will find this values, it by default will print as nan. By default it will take as nan. If you want to overwrite it, you have to specifically mention keep default nan value equal to false. Okay, so here let's say we have another value which is xxx, that means nan value. So to specify this one as a nan value, you have to specify explicitly here, like let me delete everything here, it become confusing. You have to specify na underscore values equal to, then here you just paste all the list of items that actually correspond to your nan value. So you can say xxx or even yyyy is also called nan in your data set. So specify everything here and then run it. You can also indicate the data type of the whole data frame or individual columns. So now we know df dot d type, if I will say, it will d types. Now it will give you the list of all the columns and the respective corresponding data type. If you want to, you can change the data type of entire data frame or a single column. So let's change the data type of a single column. And how you will do it? So let me copy this one here, paste it here, and let me get rid of this thing. It's actually making a lot of confusing. So basically a lot of attribute you can give, so that's why you can list can goes on and on. To change the data type, you say d type, then here you pass this dictionary, and I want to change into, let's say, object, and which column I want to change sepal length in cm. Earlier it was float. Right now if I will just say this one, and here instead of head I would say d type, df.d types. If I will just go ahead and run it, you see now the sepal length data type is changed to object. Earlier it was float. Okay, that should be enough. Now let's talk about how to write a data frame to CSV file. To do that, you have to specify to CSV which allow you to store the contents of the object as a comma separated value file. The function takes a number of argument, and which we will not go into detail, but one thing I would definitely highlight. So let's see the example. Say df and then say dot to CSV to underscore CSV, and here you pass the name. So let's say saved CSV dot, you always remember you have to say extension, like you have to put the name along with the extension, so don't forget the extension. But here you just make sure that you have to say index equal to false, otherwise the index will be written in the output. Okay, that should be enough for the CSV file or text file. Now let's talk about how to read and write from the Excel file, and we will use this Excel file as an example to read into Python data frame. So it has two tabs. One is iris, which we have seen, and iris subset, I just deleted a few of the columns and took all the random rows in a sample. Okay, so to read Excel file, use this method read underscore Excel, which can read Excel 2003, which is dot with the dot XLS extension, this one, or 2007 plus onward, which has dot XLX extension, by using this XLRD Python module. Okay, and to write data frame to Excel file, use to Excel method, which is very similar to CSV. And all the syntax and schematics are very similar to CSV file, so we will not go into in detail, but we will see some of the examples here. So let me copy everything from here and paste it here. So what I will do, I will say iris dot XLS is 2000. I have 2013, so it has to be XLS XX, and then here I will say Excel underscore file. Okay, now to read file Excel file, so we will say pd dot read underscore Excel, and then here I will provide the path, and then the next thing we have to specify the sheet name. So sheet name is equal to, here the first, we will try to read the first name, which is iris. Just copy and paste it here, and then say head df. Sorry, I always forgot. Print df dot head. Okay, now to facilitate working with multiple sheets from the same file, you can use Excel file objects. Okay, so to create Excel file, you can say pd dot Excel file, and then specify the Excel file name along with the full path and extension. Okay, and what it will do, it will create a wrap, and then you, from the wrap, you can read each and every worksheet, and also you can read one sheet as well. So we will see both the example here. To read one particular sheet, you say df, similar to the above thing, you say read Excel file, and instead of this one, okay, I forgot to name it here, right? Let's name it as XLSX. So instead of this Excel file name, I will put this one, this Excel file object of Pandas, and then I don't have to say sheet name. It's optional, because by default the second is iris, the sheet name only. So it will also do the similar thing. Now to read multiple, the tabs of this Excel file, you can take this one and iterate through. So you can take this object and iterate through. So say with this one as XLS, then here say df1 equal to, paste this one, and df2 is equal to, and let me copy the second tab as well, which is iris.subset. Okay, now at one go you actually read two tabs of the same Excel file by using this Excel file object. Okay, and now okay, now if I will just go ahead and run it, you see you read the first tab, which is same as the previous. The second tab, which is iris subset, you can see 134, which is this one, 134. So that means we have also read the second tab and put it in df2. So that's how you can read Excel file. To write Excel file, it is very much similar to the CSV file. So just mention the object, the data frame object df, and then say to Excel, and then specify the name here, say new underscore Excel dot XLS X. Don't forget to mention the extension, and then here you say sheet name, and then specify the sheet name. Um, by default it's sheet 1 if you don't provide anything, uh, but you can mention any name here. Okay, so that's how you can write data from to the Excel file. Okay, that's the brief overview what you can do with input output API of reader and writer file of Pandas. But you can read and write file from various different file format. Please go through the documentation, and if you have any question from there, please feel free to drop your questions, comment in the YouTube section, or else thanks for watching. Thanks for all your likes and subscription. Until next time, cheers.